You've probably heard of the tragic story of Princess Diana, but have you ever wondered what really happened that night? Was it just an accident, or is there something deeper we haven't been told? In today's video, we'll uncover the mysteries behind Princess Diana's death, the details that haven't been revealed, the theories that have never been discussed. Everything will be brought to light. If you believe there's something suspicious behind this accident, leave a 1 in the comments. If not, comment 0. Let's uncover the truth together, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to support the channel. Diana Frances Spencer was born on July 1, 1961 in Sandringham, Norfolk, into an old aristocratic family in England. She was the fourth of 5 children born to Earl Althorp and Countess Spencer. The Spencer family had a close relationship with the British royal family, which opened the door for Diana to be exposed to the aristocracy from a young age, including Prince Charles. In the summer of 1980, during a hunting party hosted by the Spencer family, Diana, who was just 19 years old at the time, met Charles. With her gentle beauty, refined manners, and kind heart, she quickly won the affection of the royal family. Shortly after, they decided to hold the wedding of the century on July 29, 1981. The fairy tale ceremony was broadcast live to 750 million global viewers. Diana appeared resplendent in a wedding gown over 7 meters long, crafted entirely from 40 meters of British silk, adorned with meticulously hand-embroidered lace. Her engagement ring, an 18-carat sapphire surrounded by 14 diamonds valued at $63,000, became a symbol of royal love. The world seemed to be witnessing a princess stepping out of a fairy tale. Beyond being a stunning bride, Diana also captured the public's hearts through her tireless humanitarian efforts. She actively participated in campaigns to raise awareness about HIV/AIDS, a disease heavily stigmatized at the time. She also traveled to conflict zones like Angola, where she personally walked through minefields left over from the war to advocate for action. The image of Princess Diana in protective gear walking amidst a minefield became a global symbol of courage and compassion. The public's love for her was genuine and profound, but behind that dazzling spotlight lay a reality of loneliness and heartbreak. Just 1 year after the wedding, conflicts between Charles and Diana began to emerge. Many believed it was because they married too quickly without enough time to understand and reconcile their personalities. However, the true reason ran deeper: the presence of another woman, Camilla Parker Bowles. The media and public alike believed that Camilla was the woman Prince Charles truly loved. Their relationship began in 1972, at a party where Camilla once joked, "My great-grandmother and your great-grandfather were lovers." What seemed like a casual remark became the catalyst that brought the two closer. The pain of rejection and an unhealed emotional wound kept Charles from breaking free of Camilla even after he married Diana. This gradually extinguished the young princess's hopes for a happy married life. Also feeling they had so much in common, Camilla and Charles quickly moved into a passionate relationship. That same year, Charles confessed his feelings, but Camilla declined, fearing the restrictive life within the royal family. In early 1973, she married Major Andrew Parker Bowles, a close friend of Charles. Despite his heartbreak, Charles was forced to accept an arranged marriage with Diana under pressure from the royal family. The unfulfilled romance with Camilla left a wound in the prince's heart that was not easily healed. Even after marrying Diana, Prince Charles couldn't forget Camilla Parker Bowles, the woman who had been his deep love before marriage. When Prince William, their first son, was born, the cracks in their marriage became apparent. Charles was torn between his royal duties and his lingering feelings for Camilla, causing deep pain not only to Diana, but also to Camilla's husband. This persistent love triangle had severe consequences for both families, becoming a hard-to-heal wound in the history of the British royal family. As the Princess of Wales, Diana constantly struggled under the strictures of the royal family while enduring a cold and lonely marriage. The isolation, public pressure, and feeling of betrayal plunged her into a mental health crisis. Diana suffered from depression and an eating disorder, and her mental state grew increasingly unstable. In contrast, Charles remained indifferent and distant. In 1994, during a BBC interview, he publicly admitted that his relationship with Camilla continued even after marrying Diana, a confession that shocked and saddened the public. Charles further asserted that he was merely waiting for his marriage to collapse so he could return to the woman he truly loved implicitly, stating that his love for Diana had never existed. According to many accounts, the moment that completely shattered the marriage was the birth of Prince Harry. Charles had hoped for a daughter, so when he learned it was another son, he couldn't hide his disappointment. He even made unpleasant remarks about Harry's red hair, which he believed was inherited from the Spencer side, Diana's family. These seemingly casual words were the final straw, leaving Diana even more hurt and isolated in her own home. By December 1992, after years of tension and intense media scrutiny, then British Prime Minister John Major officially announced that Charles and Diana were separating. This news immediately became the focus of global media, leading to a barrage of interviews, articles, and images that exposed the dark side of a marriage once likened to a fairy tale. Charles wasn't the only one criticized for infidelity. Diana also faced intense media scrutiny. She was rumored to have had relationships with several men, most notably Barry Manicky, her former bodyguard, and James Hewitt, a former cavalry officer whom she admitted to loving. Public speculation also swirled around other men in Diana's life, further complicating her image in the public eye. The flame of their marriage was completely extinguished, with no hope left for salvation. In August 1996, Charles and Diana officially divorced, bringing an end to a tragic marriage, a failed love story that the entire world had followed and lamented. After her divorce, Princess Diana and her two sons were invited to vacation on the yacht of billionaire Mohammed Al Fayed in the Mediterranean. There, she met Dodi Al Fayed Mohammed's son, an Egyptian film producer. The relationship between Diana and Dodi quickly blossomed. They found a connection in their personalities, emotions, and a shared desire for genuine love after much heartache. But at that time, privacy wasn't respected as it is today. As soon as news of their relationship leaked, media outlets everywhere immediately descended. Intimate photos of them flooded the tabloids. However, Diana didn't seem to care. After everything, she just wanted to be happy. However, the blossoming romance between Diana and Dodi Al Fayed, which had just begun under the Mediterranean sun, abruptly ended in an unforeseen tragedy. In the early hours of August 31, 1997, the Mercedes carrying them crashed into a concrete pillar in the Pont de l'Alma tunnel in Paris, while trying to escape relentless paparazzi. The horrific collision killed Diana Dodi and their driver, Henri Paul, while bodyguard Trevor Rees-Jones was severely injured and the sole survivor. Chaotic images taken immediately after the accident spread worldwide, profoundly shocking billions of people. Is there something suspicious behind Princess Diana's death? Unrevealed theories, details that have captured the world's attention. Let's explore the mysteries behind this tragic accident. Just one day earlier, on August 30th, Diana and Dodi had arrived in Paris from Sardinia, Italy. They were staying at the Ritz Paris, owned by the Al Fayed family, with plans to visit Dodi's father, billionaire Mohammed Al Fayed, the next day. However, the presence of Princess Diana, a global icon, immediately attracted a swarm of paparazzi at Place Vendôme, where the hotel is located. To distract the media, the security team had prepared a decoy car, while Diana and Dodi were taken through the back exit and into an armored Mercedes S280, accompanied by driver Henri Paul and bodyguard Rhys Jones. Unfortunately, none of them wore seatbelts, a detail that would later be considered a key factor in making the accident so catastrophic. As soon as the car left the hotel, it was immediately spotted. Paparazzi on motorcycles relentlessly pursued them. In an attempt to shake them off, Henri Paul drove the car at speeds over 100 km/h, double the legal limit in the city. When they entered the Pont de l'Alma tunnel, the Mercedes reportedly collided with a white Fiat, before losing control and crashing into a concrete pillar in the middle of the tunnel. The accident happened in the blink of an eye. Henri Paul and Dodi died instantly. Trevor Rhys Jones suffered severe facial and head injuries, surviving, but losing all memory of that fateful moment. And what about Princess Diana? At first, she was still conscious, with no obvious injuries but in a state of severe shock. Medical personnel immediately pulled her from the car and began emergency treatment on the way to the hospital. However, Diana's heart had been displaced due to the impact tearing the left pulmonary vein and the pericardium. Despite efforts to revive her, she did not survive and passed away at 3 a.m., ending her short but turbulent life at the age of 36. News of Princess Diana's death spread at lightning speed. Major newspapers all ran the haunting headline, "Diana is dead." People flooded the streets in shock and deep sorrow. Outside Kensington Palace, millions of bouquets, handwritten letters, and candles were placed along the walkway in tribute. They mourned not only for the loss of a princess, but for a symbol of compassion. A devoted mother and a woman who courageously stepped out from the shadow of the royal family to live true to her heart. On September 6, 1997, Princess Diana's state funeral took place at Westminster Abbey. It became one of the most watched events in human television history. An estimated 3 million people flooded the streets of London to bid her farewell, while over 2.5 billion people worldwide watched live on television, nearly 1/3 of the global population at the time. The moment when Princes William and Harry, then just 15 and 12 years old, quietly walked behind their mother's coffin became an unforgettable image. Whatever the truth may be, Princess Diana's death forever closed the story of an extraordinary woman. One who dared to love, dared to live, and dared to defy destiny. Diana was not just the Princess of Wales, but the Princess of the people's hearts. A symbol of compassion, independence, and the desire for freedom. Even though many years have passed, the death of the people's princess still leaves behind pain, doubt, and regret. Perhaps what makes Diana immortal in the hearts of the public is not just that she left us too soon, but that she lived courageously, kindly, and with deep compassion in a world full of prejudice and pressure. According to the official investigation's conclusion driver, Henri Paul, who was behind the wheel of the Mercedes carrying Princess Diana on that fateful night, had a blood alcohol concentration 3.5 times above the legal limit, and had also taken sedatives before getting into the car. French authorities believed that this caused him to lose control of the vehicle, leading to the horrific crash in the Pont de l'Alma tunnel. However, this conclusion did little to calm public opinion. On the contrary, it sparked a global wave of outrage. Many believed that the police were too hasty or even deliberately pushed the case towards an accident to cover up a larger conspiracy. Whispers, doubts, and conspiracy theories began to emerge, not only from tabloid newspapers, but also from credible voices within independent analysis and investigation circles. At the time of the accident, Diana was no longer the official princess of the royal family. After her sensational divorce from Prince Charles, she was stripped of the title Her Royal Highness and many other royal privileges. However, she became more famous than ever, not only for her beauty and kindness, but also for her independence, her willingness to challenge royal traditions, and her openness about the injustices and pain she had endured. This very strength earned her widespread admiration, and also made quite a few people uncomfortable. In the eyes of a segment of the conservative upper echelons, Diana was a thorn to be removed, a rebellious symbol threatening the solemn image and long-standing power of the British royal family. The most chilling conspiracy theory to gain widespread traction is that the British royal family orchestrated Diana's death. This hypothesis gained significant weight when a haunting detail resurfaced in her famous 1995 interview with the BBC's Panorama program. Diana stated she had a premonition she would be killed, possibly in a car plane or helicopter crash accidents staged to look like unfortunate incidents. This was no longer just a premonition. It felt like a chilling, self-fulfilling prophecy uttered by her 2 years before her death. As news of the accident spread like wildfire, the entire world turned its attention to the British royal family awaiting a condolence message, an official statement. But the longer they waited, the more disappointed they became. Queen Elizabeth II, who was at Balmoral Castle at the time, maintained complete silence for several days after Diana's death. Buckingham Palace did not fly its flag at half-mast. No statements were issued. No press conferences were held. This silence not only stunned the British public, but also ignited an unprecedented wave of outrage. In the eyes of the public, the royal family wasn't just insensitive, they had something to hide. Accusations began to echo everywhere. Were they concealing the truth? Had the royal family itself orchestrated the elimination of Diana, the woman who had shaken the monarchy with her revelations of betrayal, deceit, and pretense? Under immense public pressure, the Queen finally broke her silence. Buckingham Palace, for the first time in history, flew its flag at half-mast to honor a former member of the royal family. A live, televised address followed in which the Queen praised Diana as an exceptional woman and shared her profound sorrow. But for many, those words came too late. They believed Diana's pain and death were not accidental, but rather the result of a silent, cold, yet sophisticated campaign to eliminate her. Though Diana's death was officially ruled an accident in the hearts of millions, the truth still holds shadows that have never been fully illuminated. To this day, the theories surrounding the crash persist like a historical scar, a reminder that even love, fame, and compassion couldn't protect one from the cold forces in the dark. Diana is gone, but her image, the woman who dared to love, dared to speak, dared to be different lives on in the hearts of the British people and the world. She wasn't just a symbol of beauty, but a symbol of truth, compassion, and an indomitable spirit, something no force could ever extinguish. Did the British royal family orchestrate the accident leading to their initial indifference? One of the strongest voices to emerge was that of billionaire Mohammed Al Fayed Dodi's father. He claimed the British authorities staged the accident to prevent a Muslim from marrying the beautiful princess. According to him, Prince Philip, Queen Elizabeth II's husband, was the mastermind behind British agents killing Diana and Dodi, as he disapproved of their relationship, especially given that Diana's son would be the heir to the throne. The British royal family found it hard to accept the future king of the nation, calling a Muslim man father. Additionally, another car appeared inside the tunnel where the accident occurred, cutting off Diana's Mercedes and forcing driver Henry Paul to swerve sharply. The team of detectives present at the scene also collaborated with British intelligence agency MI6, pursuing Diana's Mercedes closely, which compelled the driver to maintain high speed before entering the tunnel. However, if that were the only evidence, this theory wouldn't have gained widespread support. The accident was also seen by some as a stepping stone for Prince Charles to officially marry Camilla. Indeed, soon after Diana's death, Charles and Camilla gradually went public with their relationship, and by April 2005, their wedding took place with Camilla becoming queen consort. This was a bitter irony for Diana's life. Nevertheless, the police publicly refuted Al Fayed's accusations, calling them entirely baseless. Beyond the accusations leveled against the British royal family, there's also a theory suggesting that the paparazzi deliberately caused the accident. Could simply hounding someone for photos lead to a princess's death? One poll revealed that as many as 43% of Britons blamed the press. Before the incident, Diana was constantly in the media's spotlight with her private life endlessly exploited. At one point, she was even dubbed the most photographed woman in the world, under 24/7 surveillance. This excessive attention became one of the factors contributing to the tragic accident. Even upon arriving in Paris, the paparazzi remained relentless, tracking every move to get the latest scoop on Diana and Dodi's relationship. On the night of the accident, the press were chasing Diana's Mercedes in low-light conditions. These photographers undoubtedly had to use additional flash units to capture the best quality pictures. A series of simultaneous flashes could very well have impaired driver Henry Paul's vision, causing him to panic and inadvertently hit the accelerator. Consequently, the car lost control and the tragic events unfolded as we know. In a documentary released in 2017, 20 years after Diana's passing, Prince William shared that he thought about his mother almost every day. He recalled her lively personality and how she always made sure her sons understood that life was not just confined within the walls of the palace. Diana took her children on public buses, participated in activities at amusement parks, and even visited McDonald's. She wanted her sons to experience the lives of ordinary people and find joy in those simple moments. Diana wanted to ensure that her sons knew they would always be loved no matter what happened. She taught William to live freely and not worry about the future. Her lessons helped her sons feel more connected to the world outside the royal family. Harry, in an interview, shared his special relationship with his mother. He remembered the warm hugs from Diana, the way she would lift him up and hold him tightly in her arms. Each hug from his mother still lives in his memory, carrying her love, even though she has passed away. Diana's sudden death in 1997 left a deep pain for her two sons, with William being just 15 and Harry 12 years old. This loss was an immense sorrow as they lost their mother at such a young age. Harry expressed that he still longs for his mother's presence every day. And despite the passage of time, he continues to remember Diana, the wonderful mother he will always love. Following the French investigation, the British police also launched their own inquiry into Diana's death. 3 forensic experts and traffic accident specialists jointly examined every aspect of the crash, attempting to determine if anything had tampered with the vehicle. Indeed, the possibility of the Mercedes being sabotaged couldn't be ruled out. They even used an identical car to Diana's for comparison, searching for any discrepancies. However, there were no signs whatsoever of anything having been attached or any car parts being damaged. Like most previous lines of inquiry, this one led to a dead end. The police ultimately concluded that no information was found to suggest any external interference with the Mercedes caused the accident. Let's shift our perspective for a moment. If the culprit were one of the 3 people in the car with Diana, then anything is possible. However, the most suspected individual is obviously the driver, Henri Paul, who died at the scene of the accident. What would make him sacrifice himself to cause such a shocking incident? Was Paul a spy for some organization? The biggest question here is whether the driver was actually drunk at the time of the accident. As a security manager, he surely must have understood that he was protecting the lives of a superstar like Diana and the son of a notorious billionaire. He had to know that drinking before driving could be dangerous, and Paul certainly understood the severe consequences he'd face if anything happened to these 2 important individuals. Not only that, but Paul's blood alcohol level was 3 times the legal limit. This detail has caused much debate to this day, as at the very least the other people in the car could have detected the driver's impairment through body odor or flushed skin. Would Diana truly trust a drunk driver to help her escape the paparazzi? When investigators spoke to those close to him, Paul was known as a responsible individual, always performing his duties well and prioritizing the protection of human lives. So could the police's conclusion be flawed? Some conspiracy theories suggest that Paul's blood test results were falsified. Blood samples were taken both at the time of the accident and during the autopsy. Therefore, the possibility of the samples being switched could certainly be considered. This passing symbolized the shattering of a royal dream and the erosion of trust in the powerful forces behind the curtain. Yet it also showed that mystery always exists behind the glamour and power. Therefore, we can only believe that the princess tragically died in a traffic accident rather than for any other reasons or conspiracies. Despite the challenges, Diana maintained her dignity and confidence. She dedicated herself to raising her children and engaging in charity work. Even in the face of loneliness and dissatisfaction from some royal family members, Diana used her fame to raise awareness about social issues and challenge royal norms. She openly expressed her emotions in public, something that some members of the royal family disagreed with, but it won her widespread admiration from the public. Diana's time in the royal family was not just filled with glamorous events and media attention. She endured many personal struggles and tensions within the palace. Although she gained the affection of the public, not everyone in the royal family was fond of her. Diana learned many valuable lessons during those challenging years, and she maintained her resilience even when facing strained relationships and loneliness within the royal family. Despite facing countless challenges and not always being accepted, Diana remained true to herself until her death. This is why she is always remembered with deep admiration. Diana endured incredibly difficult times within the palace, yet she was consistently loved. So after exploring the significant details surrounding the accident together, we can see that the truth might be far more complex than what was publicly revealed. This incident remains full of mysteries and will likely forever be a part of history that we can't fully explain. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to leave a comment with your thoughts, like this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe so you don't miss our next fascinating stories. We'll see you in the next interesting tales.